So I definitely have my feelings about the Vision Pro. I mean, I guess I understand this need for VR, AR, mixed reality. I mean, sure, okay. I also see that other companies are doing it, and they're doing it at a significantly less expensive way, or in a significantly less expensive way. And then when Apple comes along, of course, they have to Apple it up. And then when it is Appled up, super expensive price tag. And when it comes to Apple products, we, the consumers, will pay the money depending on what it is. And that's how they get their power. That is really how they get their power. And I read an article a couple of weeks ago. In fact, I just skimmed it because, I'm not a developer, but the title of the article was essentially, I think Apple is claiming that the App Store for the Vision Pro has like tripled in size in the past couple of weeks or something. And for the life of me, I just can't understand. No, that's not true. I do understand, but I would hope that other people would want to not get on board with developing for a company that at the end of the day is going to cause you to be upset with what you were doing. Not that you don't have fun developing or coding or whatever, but it's the money. It all comes back down to the money. And we can see it with the App Store on the iPhone, how Apple has that locked down. They take 30%. You, for a while, could only use, their payment methods. In-app purchases all went through them. No third-party app store or no, alternative app store. I mean, so many things that they're in court now, and have been in court for a little while, with how they have a monopoly over there. And I just don't understand why somebody would want to now get in bed with them for another app store, because regardless of what's happening in the EU, and I don't say regardless because no, it's in direct comparison, I don't think that app store, no, there's no way, because it doesn't technically exist yet. That app store is not necessarily affected by the DMA, Digital Markets Act. I think that's what it's called over there. So right now, we'll see what happens. All that to say, I would hope that people would collectively come together and say, you know what? We're not going to do this until we see that it's worth the time and the effort. And I guess fair. Fair would probably be the best way to put it. But, I read that, had my thoughts and opinions, and then I saw something else that to me also just boggled my mind. And there are a few things that I think, we all are, willing to, I guess, get on our soapboxes, or a hill that we are willing to die on. And the one thing clearly that I have my very strong opinions about is USB 2 data transfer speeds on premium devices, flagship devices, whatever you want to call them. And here, what we can see is that apparently you can buy a little developer strap for the Vision Pro. It costs $300. And it looks like it only transfers speed at USB 2 speeds. So I'm not going to read the whole article, but there's a developer who I guess bought one, and they assembled it. This individual says it shows up as a composite device and system profiler, and is unfortunately limited to USB 2 speeds. Now, it doesn't specifically say that it's limited to USB 2 speeds, but after doing some testing, he, concluded that based off of, and I guess I should say also that prior to this, or for somebody who doesn't have this particular little developer strap, the only way to send stuff to and from the Vision Pro is over Wi-Fi. So he's using his test speeds based off of how fast it also was to transfer stuff over Wi-Fi. He was comparing them. So, and that's why the quote starts off with, tried it with Wi-Fi off, and it took 107 seconds to transfer a 4 gigabyte file, giving us roughly 300 megabits per second, which is about exactly what I would expect over USB 2's 480 megabit theoretical max. So definitely going at USB 2 speeds. And of course, Apple doesn't promise anything, which kind of sucks that they don't just explicitly say what it is. Because, and again, every time somebody or a person doesn't do something, they know why. They have a reason for not doing it usually. And in this case, they know. USB 2 on a developer, anything, is not acceptable. I mean, yeah, I will gripe all day about the USB 2 speed on the iPhone 15, mainly because it's a flagship premium device. I know it's not the Pro, but it's still a premium flagship device. Here with this developer kit, whatever you want to call it, developer strap, that's specifically for professionals. So you put USB 3 on the Pro phone. Why would you put it on the Pro device used to develop for the Pro Vision? Doesn't make any sense. And that's why they haven't explicitly said anything, in my opinion. To continue, Apple doesn't promise specific speeds nor say much at all about the cable beyond the developer strap accelerating development. At USB 2 speeds, though, it is a very slow direct connection versus modern connectivity provided by USB 3.2 or Thunderbolt, so it is not clear how this is an acceleration. It is also not clear if a future patch will do anything for speeds. The connection between the developer strap and the headset has more pins than a USB-C cable or a Thunderbolt cable does, so in theory, this could be capable of a very fast connection, assuming the electronics behind the connector are robust enough. Since our conversation with that particular developer, we've spoken with other developers that we've known for years about the strap. They are similarly nonplussed by the offering. It would be great if it could use alt mode for direct video streaming from the Mac, but it can't even do that, one developer told Apple Insider. On the condition of anonymity, this is $300 burned to ash. So yeah, like developers are speaking out, and that's why I'm just like, don't develop for it. Like, let it die. I mean, yeah, Apple did all the work, all the R&D, everything behind it, but with no app store, it will die, and just let it die. And let that be a message to Apple that, yes, you are a very powerful company, but you can't do anything without us, the developers. You can try your best to create as many apps internally as you would like, as you would hope so, but users will come when the thing is usable, and in order for it to be usable, the developers need to develop the apps. So I too was thinking, like, before I even knew about the strap or whatever, in fact, maybe when I first heard about it, I don't know, but yeah, it's like, all right, I understand that, you connect to your Mac through some type of wireless protocol. Why can't you just connect the Vision Pro directly to a Mac if you happen to be stationary, if you know you're going to be stationary? Because for that, then too, I would think you should be able, theoretically, to also power the device while it's sending you a video stream. And then you can, do everything you need to do while you're sitting down, have maybe, whether it's a MacBook or a Mac Mini sitting next to you, and you can do everything you need. But Apple is going to constantly do what we allow them to do. And unless, whether it's the developers choose to not develop or it's consumers just choose to not buy the product, they're going to keep doing stuff. And it sucks that one person had to be anonymous to say that. I mean, I can imagine that there might be some type of backlash from Apple if, their name was actually mentioned in the article, which again sucks. But as I said, and I hope this is me really closing it up. I complained a lot about USB 2 on the iPhone 15, and I'm pointing because it's right behind the camera. USB 2 came out in the year 2000. It is 24 years old. USB 3 came out in the year 2008, I believe. So a little younger, still relatively old by tech standards, but the improvements between USB 2 and any of the variations of USB 3 make it just the optimal and logical choice I would have assumed for, I'd say, any device in 2024, but definitely premium devices. Some will come at me and say, oh, well, the iPhone 15 isn't a Pro device, so it doesn't need it. Marques Brownlee even said that it's not the Pro iPhone, so most users won't actually take advantage of those USB 3.2 speeds. Completely disagree, but whatever. The Pro phone gets it. Got it. Still a phone though. Still a phone. keep that in mind, that it is still a phone, and most people with the Pro phone won't take advantage of the faster USB speeds. Cool. But when it comes to the literal thing that is required, or I guess I should not require, but the literal thing that developers could use to develop, that is a Pro device. Heck, the whole thing is called a Vision Pro, but the thing that you would connect to get a wired connection to assist with developing, definitely a pro device. No reason that that thing should operate at USB 2 speeds. I'm extremely hopeful that for the developer's sake, that those extra pins are in there for a reason, and at some point in time in the future, Apple might decide to kick up some speeds. I know I don't think it's a common thing to do, but I can't remember what laptop it was, but I think it like released with like USB 3 dot something, and through a firmware update was able to start pushing data out at like USB 4 speeds or something like that. So it's possible. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I definitely believe that, hey, the only way for Apple to stop doing something is for people to realize the products ain't that great, mainly because Apple does things to them to make them worse. And then, yeah, collectively, we can come together and say, we don't like that. And Apple, until you do better, we're going to go find alternatives.